self-respecting person from a Hindu family should know that verse. You've grown up hearing that verse. You've watched Mahabharata, and you know that verse. And every self-respecting member of ISKCON should also know that verse. And so in essence, Krishna says that he comes to the material world to annihilate the demons, to protect the devotees, and to re-establish the principles of religion. But the hidden reason that Krishna comes and Lord Balarāma comes is to perform these pastimes to attract us away from the glitter of the material energy. We're all attracted, speaking personally, to the material energy. I'm attracted to the material world, and that's why I'm here. But it's described that if you have a very beautiful jewel, I won't ask any of the ladies to show, or any of the men if they've got any beautiful jewels on, but if you have a beautiful gem, like a gemstone or a diamond, when it's displayed on a ring, it's displayed on a dark background. Right? You don't display a diamond on a white background, but you display that diamond ring on a dark background, and in that way it enhances its beauty even more. So it's described that when Lord Balarāma and Lord Krishna, they perform these pastimes with the dark background of the material world, then these pastimes are even more attractive, and they attract the hearts of the conditioned souls, i.e. myself, away from the glitter of material energy and back to our original attraction for Krishna. So all of these wonderful pastimes are here in the Krishna book, which is a summary study of the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. And so today we're going to read one of these pastimes of Lord Balarāma. We're going to get it up on the board here, and we may learn something, and we're going to have a quiz afterwards. So you have to listen very carefully. And even if you say, well, I don't know, I've never read this book before, I don't know the pastimes of Lord Balarāma, it's no excuse, because we're going to be reading it. Although Sanchamena did read it yesterday, so he's got a slight advantage. We didn't tell him though, he must have just been in touch with the Lord in the heart. But before we read this wonderful pastime and do a quiz, we're just going to sing a little song. So usually before we read from the Krishna book, we sing this song. It's very simple, and the words are up here. So let's give it a try. If anyone can play some kartals, that would be great. Oh yes, even better, Dan and Jaya Prabhu can accompany on the harmonium. Try and sing in tune for you. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshama. Krishna, 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 we'll do it again, but a bit faster this time. Krishna, 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 hey. Everyone. Yeah, clap your hands as well. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshama. Krishna, Krishna, Parima. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshama. Balarāma ki, Shri Balarāma Jayanti Mahamahotsav ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Thank you. So, Ramai Prabhu may have explained, but the actual day of Balarāma Jayanti was yesterday. But we're celebrating it today because more people can generally attend on a Sunday. But the good news is we don't have to fast today. Yesterday was a fasting day, and today is a feasting day. And we will be sampling Lord Balarāma's Varuni drink. That's a special thing to look forward to on Balarāma Jayanti. And we're going to be reading from the chapter in the Krishna book where it is explained about Lord Balarāma drinking Varuni. So this is Lord Balarāma visits Vrindavan. I was going to read another chapter. I was going to read Balarāma killing one of the demons. But I thought, seeing as Ramai was speaking about this pastime and Satya was asking about it, we'd read this one. Okay, so yes, I think it will be up on the screen, but if you do have a book and let's say you have your phone with you, you can go onto Veda Base, and then you can go onto the Krishna book, and it is chapter 65, Lord Balarāma visits Vrindavan. So sit so you can either see the television, because we're going to be passing the microphone around to read. Everyone can read a paragraph. And if you can't see the TV, then you can maybe use your phone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'm going to read, actually I'm not even going to read the first paragraph. I'm going to give the microphone to Dan and Jagabhu, if that's okay. Oh, okay, no problem. I kind of need the book. Well, actually I could use my phone to do the questions. It might be easier if you have the book though. Here.
If I set it up probably in front of you, would that be easy?
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
So this is connected to the screen, so as you're reading, everybody can see.
Yeah. Okay, well I'll begin with the first one. And by the way, just to be on your toes, because I could ask any of these as a question. So this may or may not be a clue. This is chapter 65. What chapter is it?
92.
It's chapter 65. Lord Balarāma visits Vrindavan. What's it called? My goodness, I know it's Sunday afternoon. Is everyone asleep? I'm trying to give you a clue so you may get at least one answer right. Yeah, this is Lord Balarāma visits Vrindavan, and it's chapter 65. So we can read a paragraph and then pass on the microphone to the next person to be able to read. Everyone may not get a chance to read, but we'll just keep going until we get to the end of the chapter. And when you're reading, please read in a nice clear voice so everyone can hear. That wasn't directed at you.
Lord Balarāma became very anxious to see his father and mother in Vrindavan. Therefore, with great enthusiasm, he started on a chariot for Vrindavan. The inhabitants of Vrindavan had been anxious to see Krishna and Balarāma for a very long time. When Lord Balarāma returned to Vrindavan, all the cowherd boys and the gopis had grown up. But still, on his arrival, they all embraced him, and Balarāma embraced them in reciprocation. After this, he came before Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda and offered his respectful obeisances. In response, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj offered their blessings unto him. They addressed him as Jagadishvara, or the Lord of the universe who maintains everyone. The reason for this was that Krishna and Balarāma maintained all living entities, and yet Nanda and Yashoda were put into such difficulties on account of their absence. Feeling like this, they embraced Balarāma and, seating him on their laps, began their perpetual crying, wetting Balarāma with their tears. Lord Balarāma then offered his respectful obeisances to the elderly cowherd men and accepted the obeisances of the younger cowherd men. Thus, according to their different ages and relationships, Lord Balarāma exchanged feelings of friendship with them. He shook hands with those who were his equals in age and friendship, and with loud laughing embraced each one of them.
No, you just pass it round. I'm not reading. Yeah.
After being received by the cowherd men and boys, the gopis, and King Nanda and Yashoda, Lord Balarāma sat down, feeling satisfied, and they all surrounded him. First, Lord Balarāma inquired from them about their welfare, and then, since they had not seen him for such a long time, they began to ask him different questions. The inhabitants of Vrindavan had sacrificed everything for Krishna, simply being captivated by the lotus eyes of the Lord. Because of their great desire to love Krishna, they never desired anything like elevation to the heavenly planets, or merging into the effulgence of Brahma to become one with absolute truth. They are not even interested in enjoying a life of opulence, but are satisfied in living a simple life in the village as cowherds. They were always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and did not desire any personal benefits. And they were all so much in love with him that in his absence their voices faltered when they began to inquire from Balaramji.
First Nanda Maharaja and Yashodamai inquired, my dear Balarāma, are friends like Vasudeva and others in the family doing well? Now you and Krishna are grown up, married men with children, in the happiness of family life. Do you sometimes remember your poor father and mother? Nanda Maharaja and Yashoda Devi, it is very good news that the most sinful King Hamsa has been killed by you, and that our friends like Vasudeva and the others who have been harassed have now been relieved. It is also very good news that you and Krishna defeated Jarasandha and Kalayavana, who is now dead, and that you are now living in a fortified residence in Dwaraka.
If someone has a phone in front of them, just continue and we can just listen.
When the gopis arrived, Lord Balarāma glanced over them with loving eyes. Being overjoyed, the gopis who had so long been mortified on account of Krishna and Balarāma's absence began to ask about the welfare of the two brothers. They specifically asked Balarāma whether Krishna was enjoying his life, surrounded by the enlightened women of Dwaraka. Does he sometimes remember his father Nanda and his mother Yashoda and other friends with whom he has so intimately behaved while in Vrindavana? Does Krishna have any plans to come here to see his mother Yashoda? And does he remember us gopis who are now pitiably bereft of his company? Krishna may have forgotten us in the midst of the cultured women of Dwarka, but as far as we are concerned, we still remember him by collecting flowers and sewing them into garlands. When he does not come, however, we simply pass our time by crying. If only he could come here and accept these garlands we have made. Dear Lord Balarāma, descendant of Dashara, do you know that we would give up everything for Krishna's friendship? Even in great distress, one cannot give up the connection of family members. But although it might be impossible for others, we gave up our fathers, mothers, sisters, and relatives. But then Krishna, without caring a bit for our renunciation, all of a sudden renounced us and went away. He broke off our intimate relationship without serious consideration and left for a foreign country. but he was so clever and funny that he manufactured very nice words. He said, "My dear gopis, please do not worry. The service you have rendered me is impossible for me to repay. After all, we are women, so how could we disbelieve him? Now we understand that his sweet words were simply for cheating us."
Protesting Krishna's absence from Vrindavan, another gopi said, "My dear Balramji, we are of course village girls, so Krishna could cheat us in that way. But what about the women of Dwarka? Don't think they are foolish as we are. We village women might be misled by Krishna, but the women in the city of Dwarka are very clever and intelligent. Therefore, I would be surprised if such city women could be misled by Krishna and could believe his words."
Then another gopi began to speak. "My dear friend," she said, "Krishna is very clever in using words. No one can compete with him in that art. He can manufacture such colorful words and talk so sweetly that the heart of any woman would be misled. Besides that, he has perfected the art of smiling very attractively. And by seeing his smile, women become mad after him and give themselves to him without any hesitation."
The gopi, after hearing this, said, "My dear friends, what is the use of talking about Krishna? If you're all interested in passing time by talking, let's talk on some subject other than him. If cruel Krishna can pass his time without us, why can't we pass our time without Krishna? Of course, Krishna is passing his days without us very happily, but we can't pass our days happily without him."
When the gopis were talking in this way, their feelings for Krishna became more and more intense, and they were experiencing Krishna's smiling, Krishna's word of love, Krishna's attractive features, Krishna's characteristics, and Krishna's embraces. By the force of their ecstatic feeling, it appeared to them that Krishna was personally present and dancing before them. Because of their sweet remembrance of Krishna, they could not check their tears and they began to cry without consideration.
Lord Balarāma, of course, could understand the elastic feelings of the gopis and therefore he wanted to pacify them. He was expert in presenting an appeal and thus treating the gopis very respectfully. He began to narrate the stories of Krishna so tactfully that the gopis become satisfied. To keep the gopis in Vrindavana satisfied, Lord Balarāma stayed there continuously for 2 months, namely the month of Kaitra, March, April and Vaishka, April, May. For those 2 months he kept himself among the gopis and he passed every night with them in the forest of Vrindavana. To satisfy their desire for conjugal love, this Balarāma also enjoyed the rasa dance with the gopis during those 2 months. Since the season was springtime, the breeze on the bank of the Yamuna was blowing very mildly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, especially the flower known as Kaimudi. Moonlight filled the sky and spread everywhere. And thus the bank of Yamuna appeared very bright and blessing, and the Lord Balarāma enjoyed the company of the gopis there.
The demigod known as a Varuna sent his daughter Varuni in the form of liquid honey oozing from the hollows of the trees. Because of his honey, the whole forest became aromatic and the sweet aroma of the liquid honey. Varuni captivated Balramji and all the gopis became very much attracted by the taste of the Varuni, and all of them drank it together. While drinking this natural beverage, all the gopis chanted the glories of Lord Balarāma, and Lord Balarāma felt very happy, as if he had become intoxicated by drinking that Varuni beverage. His eyes rolled in a pleasing attitude. He was decorated with long garlands of forest, flowers, and the whole situation appeared to be a great function of happiness. Because of this transcendental bliss, Lord Balarāma smiled beautifully, and the drops of perspiration decorating his face appeared like soothing morning dew.
While Balarāma was in that happy mood, he desired to enjoy the company of the gopis in the water of Yamuna. Therefore, he called the Yamuna to come nearby. But the Yamuna neglected the order of Balramji, considering him intoxicated. Lord Balarāma became very much displeased at the Yamuna's neglecting his order. He immediately wanted to scratch the land near the river with his plowshare. Lord Balaram has two weapons, a plow and a club, from which he takes services when they are required. This time he wanted to bring the Yamuna by force, and he took the help of his plow. He wanted to punish the Yamuna because she did not come in obedience to his order. He addressed the Yamuna, "You wretched river, you do not care for my order. Now I shall teach you a lesson. You did not come to me voluntarily. Now, with the help of my plow, I shall force you to come. I shall divide you into hundreds of scattered streams."
Hare Krishna. When the Yamuna was threatened like this, she became greatly afraid of the power of Balarāma and immediately came in person, falling at his lotus feet and praying thus: "My dear Balarāma, you are the most powerful personality, and you are pleasing to everyone. Unfortunately, I forgot your glorious exalted position, but now I have come to my senses, and I remember that you hold all the planetary systems on your head merely by your partial expansion, Sisha. You are the sustainer of the whole universe. My dear Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are full with six opulences. Because I forgot your omnipotence, I have mistakenly disobeyed your order, and thus I have become a great offender. But my Lord, please know that I am a soul surrendered unto you, who are very affectionate to your devotees. Therefore, please excuse my impudence and mistakes, and by your causeless mercy, may you now release me. Hare Krishna.
Upon displaying the submissive attitude, the Yamuna was forgiven, and when she came nearby, Lord Balaram enjoyed the pleasure of swimming in her waters along with the gopis in the same way that an elephant enjoys himself along with his many she-elephants. After a long time, when Lord Balaram had reached it and had enjoyed his full satisfaction, he came out of the water and immediately a goddess of fortune offered him a nice blue garment and a valuable necklace made of gold. After bathing in the Yamuna, Lord Balaram, dressed in blue garments and decorated with golden ornaments, looked very attractive to everyone. Lord Balaram's complexion is white, and when he was properly dressed, he looked exactly like the white elephant of King Indra in the heavenly planets. The river Yamuna still has many small branches due to being scratched by the plowshare of Lord Balaram, and all of these branches of the river Yamuna still glorify the omnipotence of Lord Balaram.
Krishna, Lord Balaram and the gopis enjoyed transcendental pastime together. Every night for 2 months, and time passed so quickly that all those nights appeared to be the only one night. In the presence of Lord Balaram, all the gopis and other inhabitants of the Vrindavan became as cheerful as they had been before in the presence of both brothers. Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma.
Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki.
Jai.
Let's end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 65th chapter of Krishna, Lord Balaram visits Vrindavan. Can someone pass me the microphone? Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you for your wonderful reading. Everyone was nice and clear. So, for those of you who have come in during the reading, you may not be aware that we are now having a quiz. And depending upon your performance in the quiz, that will depend upon how much prasadam you're given later on. No questions, no prasadam, no excuses. No, everyone will get prasadam. But I'm not sure about you, but I find that if I know there's going to be a quiz, I listen more attentively. Right? It's like, okay, I want to either I want to show off that I know all the answers, or I just kind of switches us on somehow. And actually the essence of Krishna consciousness is hearing. Shravanam, Kirtanam. And then Vishnu Smanam. So when we hear and chant about Krishna, then we remember Krishna. So if all of us today, if we can just come out of this temple at the end of the day, just remembering one thing from this pastime of Lord Balaram, then that will be a great success. And then at the time of death, if we can remember Krishna and Balaram at the time of death, we can go back to them. So we hope that at the time of death we will remember something transcendental, perhaps from this quiz from Balaram Jayanti. Okay, so for the first question, oh yes, and actually this is really important, you have to have a buzzer. You have to pretend we've got a buzzer. So if you know the answer, you have to do two things. You have to put your hand up and you have to say, Jai Balaram. So can everyone try that? Put your hand up. Jai Balaram. You've got to say it really enthusiastically. Put your hand up and Jai Balaram. Now if you just put your hand up and you blurt out the answer, disqualified. No, you won't be disqualified. If you just say Jai Balaram without putting your hand up, because otherwise I'll just hear loads of Jai Balarams and I won't know who said it first. So hand up and say Jai Balaram. That's it, if you know the answer. Okay, so for the first question, what is the chapter of the... I haven't finished my question there, but... Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. That was the bonus question, but we'll give you that. Yeah, what is the title of the chapter? Yes, Satya. Lord Balaram visits Vrindavan, and this is only for Nikunj. And what chapter number is that? 65. Okay, good. Point to Satya, point to Nikunj. Okay. Now, if anyone was listening to the end of Ramai's class there, Satya asked a question. So what was the reason that Lord Balaram visited Vrindavan? Well done.
Because he was missing his mom and dad, so he wanted to go and meet
Yeah.
mom and dad. So.
Yeah, we'll give you that. That's very good. Yeah, he was very anxious to see his father and mother. Yeah, very good. Okay, so next question. Question number 3. I can see Nikunj is burst into trying to put his hand up. He's usually the top of the class. Okay, how did Lord Balaram get to Vrindavan? Was Nikunj? On a chariot. Yeah, didn't take an Uber. No, he took a chariot. Yeah, very good. So, when Lord Balaram came before Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, what did he do? Ramai.
He paid his obeisances.
Yes, very good. He paid his obeisances. Who pays their obeisances to their mum and dad when they see them? Oh, wow. There we go. We have some people of culture here. My dad's just been up to stay with me for the weekends. He's been helping me in the garden. I think if I'd paid my obeisances to my dad when he arrived, he might have found that quite strange.
We could ask for my mobile phone when he sees me.
He asked for your mobile phone. Yeah, that's more like a 2025 greeting. One time, Srila Prabhupada, some of his very first disciples, he had 2 disciples who were brothers, called Brahmananda and Gargamuni. So they got initiated by Srila Prabhupada, one of the first initiations, and they invited their mother along. So Prabhupada was saying to the mother, oh, very nice, usually on this day it is appropriate to give some kind of donation, Prabhupada said to the mother. And the mother said, I've already donated my 2 sons. And Prabhupada said, yes, you are correct, very good, and they're wonderful sons. And then he instructed Gargamuni and Brahmananda to pay their obeisances to their mother. And he said, every time you see your mum, you must pay your obeisances. So they described that when they used to go and visit her, they would ring the doorbell, and then mum would open the door, and then there was no one there. And then she would look down, and they were both paying their obeisances on the ground. Yes, now, this is interesting. When Balaram had offered his obeisances, what did Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj do? No, that's correct. We're going to go to Dhananjaya.
They gave them the blessings.
Very good, yes. They offered their blessings upon him. So that's what we have to do. When our children come before us, pay your obeisances. Come on. And then you can give your blessings. Okay. And they addressed Balaram by a particular name. Does anyone know what name? Nikunj. Are you looking at your phone? Is he looking at his phone? Well, put it down and turn it upside down, please. Otherwise, we'll be ejected for cheating. But we'll give you that this time. That's okay. I'll take your word for it. But yes, it was Jagadishwar. Now, for a bonus point, can anyone tell me what does Jagadishwar mean? Sancha.
Lord of the universe.
Yes, Lord of the universe who... Very good, who said that? Very good, Dr. Saxena, who maintains everyone. Yes, very good. Okay, now, question 7. When Lord Balaram, he saw different persons within Vrindavan, people of different ages and relationships, and he exchanged feelings with them in different ways. Like he paid his obeisances to his mum. But what did he do with his friends of equal age and friendship? I think that was Satya.
He loudly laughed and embraced them, and he shook their hands.
Very good, yeah. So it said he shook their hands and embraced them. I think that's quite nice because we sometimes think of like shaking hands. Like at least I think of it's like a very English thing. Often in Krishna consciousness we kind of, we do a little pranam like that, right? But it's bona fide to shake someone's hand. In fact, after Lord Brahma had been performing penances, he heard the word tapa. He described that he performed penances for, many years of the demigods. And when Krishna appeared before him, he shook his hand. It says that in the Bhagavatam. And he embraced them. So so if you meet your friends, you don't have to pay obeisances. You can shake their hands and you can embrace them. Okay, question 8. Yes. Now it's described that the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they had sacrificed everything for Krishna simply by, and it's described as a reason that they sacrificed everything for Krishna. It was simply, Nikunj? Yeah, that's right, yeah. Simply being captivated by the lotus eyes of the Lord. Now, can you imagine what the eyes of the Lord must look like? These beautiful, it's described Padma Lochan, right? Lotus eye, beautiful lotus eyes. They sacrificed everything for Krishna just by being captivated by the smiling eyes, the lotus eyes of the Lord. Amazing. Just try and imagine. Okay, question 9. So Krishna and Balarāma, they were now grown up and they were married with children. So then Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, they asked Lord Balarāma a question. What question did they answer? Now that you're married with you're grown up with and married with children, do you still... Who's that? Kamut. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Do you still remember your poor father and mother? Now, those of you who've got grown-up children, my children still think I'm their hero, you know? But as children get a bit older, right? Particularly, I was speaking to my dad when we were doing some work in the garden, and I was asking about his brothers and sisters. And he said, yeah, he's been in touch with his sisters. I said, what about your brother? He said, we don't really keep in touch that often. We're boys, you know? Boys they're not very good at that thing. Girls keep in touch with their mums, but boys are not so good at that. So we might sometimes feel like that, right? As parents, do you still remember me? I've not heard from you, right? Your daughter was just up visiting Saraswati, right? Does she keep in touch with you regularly? Oh, that's good. You have a good daughter there. So yeah, but these are natural feelings. We feel like this as parents, but these feelings are there in the spiritual world. Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, do you still remember us? Now you're grown up with children? Do you still remember your poor mother and father? Because we do a lot to bring up our children. They brought up Krishna and Balarāma, from children, from babies. Yes, okay. So, question 10. When the gopis were talking of Krishna, they were kind of criticizing Krishna, but it's described that their feelings became more and more intense. And then it's described that they remembered Krishna's, and there's 5 different things that they remembered, or not just remembered, they could experience them. By talking about Krishna, their feelings became more intense and they could actually experience Krishna's, and there's 5 things. So, if anyone gets one of them, Nikunj. No, that's not one of them, but it was a good guess. Sacha. Yeah, Krishna's words of love. I'll give you that. Okay. I'll give you a clue.
He's smiling.
Yes. Krishna's smiling. I won't be able to demonstrate the next one. Does anyone know? Well, there's 3 more.
His embrace.
His embraces. Very good. Yes, 2 more. These are quite hard questions, I'm sorry. Okay then. Well, one of them is his characteristics. And one of them is his attractive features. So this is interesting, that just by talking about Krishna, their feelings for Krishna became more intense, and they could directly perceive Krishna's smiling, his words of love, his attractive features, his characteristics, and his embraces. Now, why is this important for us? Because we can do the same thing. Just by speaking about Krishna, we can perceive and we can experience Krishna directly. That's what the gopis are teaching us here. Of course, their remembrance is, much more than ours, but we can experience the same thing. So because the gopis, they were so disturbed in one sense by Krishna, what did Balarāma want to do for the gopis? I'm going to go over to Mother Saraswati. She put her hand up first. Yeah. Very good. Yes. Yeah, Balarāma wanted to pacify them because they were anxious. And for the next question, how did Lord Balarāma pacify the gopis? Okay, you can go. It's too hard to be. You're 9 years old, right? You're 9, right? Yeah, at that age of learning, it's hard to compete with Nikunj. Okay, Nikunj. Yeah, very good. Yeah, he narrated the pastimes of Krishna, and that was the next question for 2 months. So 2 points. Now, okay then, what months were those? Sacha?
Month of Chaitra and Vaishakha.
Yes, Chaitra and Vaishakha. So what month is Chaitra? Okay, we're not having any Jai Balarams here, but I'll go to Kamut.
March, April, and then Vaishakha is April.
Yeah, anyway, that was correct. Chaitra, March, April, Vaishakha, April, May. And what else did Lord Balaram do during those 2 months? Sacha Prabhu. He performed the rasa dance. And what season was it? Everyone's abandoned saying Jai Balaram here. What did you say, Kamut, Matthew? Spring. Yes, it was spring. And it's described that in spring there's a particular flower that produces a wonderful aroma. What flower was that? I'm going to go to Sacha. We should go to you, but go on. Kamudi. Does that have a relation? Is that any connection? It's the same flower? Yeah. So this is Kamud, it's Kamodi. Yes. Okay. Who is Varuni the daughter of? Ramai Prabhu. Who? Varun, yes. Yes, that's right. God of the water, yes. And what form did Varuni take? Sacha Prabhu. We shouldn't have got him to... He's cheated because he read the right chapter yesterday. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a honey form of honey.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. A particular liquid form of honey oozing from the trees, like sap. You get like maple syrup and things like that. So it's something like that. The sap from the tree, liquid honey. Now, this is interesting. Did you know that God gets intoxicated? Right? He gets intoxicated. So when Lord Balaram drinks this Varuni beverage, he becomes intoxicated. But how can you tell that Lord Balaram is intoxicated? Ramai Prabhu. Yeah, he's rolling his eyes, but do not normal drunk people in Newcastle. We could probably go down to a pub now and see someone with rolling eyes. But he rolled his eyes in a particular way. Yeah, it says in a pleasing attitude. So it's not like, when we become drunk, I hope no one becomes drunk here. But when, we as human beings become drunk, we become, we roll our eyes, but people generally tend to become aggressive, right? When they get what we call Dutch courage. But Lord Balaram, he had a very pleasing attitude. His eyes were rolling in a pleasing attitude. Now, Lord Balaram, he beckoned Yamuna to come over here. But she didn't initially. So what did Lord Balaram do? I'm going to come over to here, because otherwise it's always the same persons.
Because he threatened the Yamuna river, like that because you're not listening, so I'll flow the river and break the 7 pieces.
That's right, yeah. So he scratched